Today's video, I'm going to take a break from Magic Awakened and just do a set review. I've only played in 3 starter deck tournaments. I'm X and 1 in all the tournaments so far, and the only constructed play I've been getting has been on Pixelborn, just because people still don't have cards yet. But I think I know enough about the game now to make a fairly accurate set review. So I'm just going to go through the cards a lot faster than probably most set reviews, just so I'm not talking forever and like lose my voice or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So Ariel, 4 cost 3/4, 2 lore, can't sing songs, absolute garbage. Ariel 3-drop 2/3, singer 5, so being able to sing grab your sword, a whole new world, let it go, things like that on turn 4 is really strong. And then obviously finding a song is just card advantage, so absolute tier 1 card, pretty insane. Now we have the Cinderella, 4-drop 2/5, 2 lore, singer 5, and then tap, remove 3 damage from a princess character. I think this card is going to be really good down the road when there's more princess archetype decks, but for now it's not that great, but it definitely has a lot of potential for the future. Service is 5-drop 5/6, great for probably like draft, sealed, structure deck tournament if they include the pack. I don't think it's constructed playable at the moment. Hades is, in my opinion, absolute garbage. It's an 8 cost. It's not inkable. There's not enough villains right now to make this effect even remotely worth it, at least at the moment. Hades 4 cost 3/2. When you play this character, return a character card from your discard pile to your hand. Very good. Obviously, a tier 1, maybe tier 2 card because it's not inkable, but it's definitely very playable. And you can recur your threats or recur like a Rapunzel or a Rockstar Stitch, and it's just a card advantage. Why not? Hey, 1-drop 1/2 support. I think it's pretty bad. Not that bad in sealed, but definitely not constructed playable. LeFou, 2-drop 1/2. If you have a character named Gaston play, you may pay 1 less to play the character. Quest for 2 lore. Could be better in the future whenever there's maybe more Gaston cards. But even right now, just a 2-drop that quest for 2 lore is not bad. Yeah, I'd say it's like a tier 2 card. Lilo is kind of like the face of aggro at the moment. 1-drop 1/1 lore, not inkable, doesn't matter. If you protect this behind a Simba for even just a couple turns, you're probably going to win the game. Maximus, 5-drop 4/5, bodyguard and support. I do actually like running this over the Goofy, because it can trade into Mad Hatter and Cusco with 1 attack. And also the support's really strong, and usually if this card's ran as like a 2 of, I think it's a great card. Maximus 3-drop 3/3. When you play this character, chosen character gets -2 attack. It is, I think it's good. I think it's better than what people think it is. I take it sometimes in like my Amber Emerald decks, but it's hit or miss. I think it's a fine card. It's not good or bad. Then we have Goofy, bodyguard, 5-drop 3/6. As bodyguard, when you play this character, you can move to 2 damage from each of your musketeer characters. Obviously, if your deck's musketeer centric, then it's obviously better than Maximus. If it's not, then I think there's more bodyguard cards in the future, then it's just better. Minnie Mouse is a 2-drop 2/3. All the 2-drop 2/3s are just good. Moana, when this character quests, you may ready your other princess characters that can't quest, so you just get a bunch of lore and then quest her, untap them all, and then you can either trade or they're just protected because your opponent can't attack into them. So again, not that great right now. I expect it to be better in the future when there's more princess cards. Smee, I think, is really underrated. I want to actually test him out a bit. 3-drop 2/5, really good stat line, and he gets 1 lore. I actually think this card's good, just to get a lot of play. I think Prince Philip is pretty unplayable. It's uninkable. It doesn't matter that it kills the thing that kills it. An uninkable 3/3. Great. Timon's a 4-drop 3/5. Nothing special. Don't think it ever really makes the cut. Rapunzel is arguably the best card in the game. If it's not, it's like second best. It's probably the best card in the game. 4-drop 1/5, 2 lore. When you play this character, move up to 3 damage from one of your other characters. Draw a card for each damage removed this way. So it draws anywhere from 0 to 3 cards, which is really insane. Also collects for 2 lore, also has 5 defense. So your opponent is going to have to swing into it multiple times or dump a resource into it and make them lose tempo either by investing like a spell into it or action, I should say, or multiple combat swings. So it's just a really, really good card. It's pretty insane. Sebastian, 2-drop 2/2 Singer 4. I think this card is going to be a lot better in the future whenever there's more songs. So not ran right now, but I think it's going to be better in the future. Simbra is a tier 1 card, goes in every Amber aggro list. It's a 2-drop 2/3 with bodyguard, so you can protect the Lilos and the Stitches. Now the 7-drop Stitch is really good, just good draw power. Usually only run like 2 in a deck, I think is be like optimal, but I do think it's really good. I think I'm running 4 of it in my Amber Emerald. Yeah, I think it's a little slept on. I think it's very good. Stitch obviously is fantastic. 1-drop 2/2 taps for 1. It's different from other 1-drop 2/2s because we have a shiftable. So whenever you play this character, whenever you play a character that costs 2 or less, you can exert it to draw a card. It taps for 3 lore. You can play it on turn 4. If you have a lantern, you can play it on turn 3. It's pretty insane. Timon is completely unplayable. 1-drop 1/2. When you play this character, remove damage from a chosen character. That is mega garbage. Be our guest. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a character card from one that your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. And it's singable. Very good. It's also another target for Ariel. Control your temper. Completely unplayable and constructed, in my opinion. Just doesn't do enough. Kuna Matata, I think, is also another unplayable card. Again, the chances that you're actually going to get value of this card are really low. Be unplayable. Same thing with Healing Glow. Pretty unplayable. Just in Time is a very interesting card. People are trying to make this card work. Had been since the game came out. I'm not sold on it, but I can definitely see it being very strong. You know, this into Cusco or Mad Hatter is probably insane. There's probably some other 5-drops as well, just nothing off the top of my head. Maybe even like Lilo into like Simba into like Maximus or something, and just protecting that Lilo forever would be really good. A Part of Your World, that's a song, which is always good. Return a character from your discard pile to your hand, but it's not inkable. I think that's the thing holding that card back. You Have Forgotten Me, I think, is a really good anti-meta card, especially against Rakdos control, but I think it's just good in general. I think people are sleeping on this, so your opponents are probably holding, you know, the bombs in their hand, and if you catch people with this early, it can just really completely mess up the flow of the game. Just the way that you ink and then you try and hold on to some threats. I think it's very good, and it's also inkable. So even if, you know, it's not particularly great in the moment, it is mana, so it's really strong. Bingo Hopper is complete garbage. Lantern's probably one of the best cards in the game, right? Definitely one of the best aggro cards in the game. You can tap it, pay 1 ink, and then you play 1 less for the next character. These do stack, these do apply to shiftable, so it's pretty crazy. Ursula's Shell Necklace, whenever you play a song, you may pay 1 ink to draw a card. I think this card's going to be really good in the future. Like, really good in the future. Anna, I think, is pretty bad. I have tried to play like an Elsa Anna deck where I kind of like max out on it just to see how it goes. It's not worth it. Don't think it makes it into any list. 1-drop 2/2s are good. Facilier, I think, is okay. It's not inkable. There's a Let It Go, there's Dragonfire, there's Be Prepared, all these other things. Don't know if he's ever going to be like super worth. Facilier, 2-drop 0/4, gets +2 when it attacks. It's fine. I could see it actually being pretty good in like a anti, you know, aggro meta that ever becomes like, you know, super prevalent. Whenever you play a song, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 on the top of your deck and the other on the bottom. I think this is going to be good the longer. Few cards on the bottom. I don't know. Even if songs get like a lot more prevalent, I just don't know. It never really makes the cut. Probably depends on if there's other shiftable Faciliers, but I doubt it. This is garbage. This card's actually really good because it allows you to basically ping off opposing characters, and is also excuse me, generally the target for this Elsa being able to shift for 6. This is obviously one of the best cards in the game. Puts for 3 lore, and then these are the 2 chosen characters that don't untap, so really kind of changes the tempo of the entire game. Flotsam is complete garbage. It's uninkable, and no one cares about giving rush, and it has a bad stat line for the cost, so it's a completely unplayable card in my opinion. Jafar is actually pretty good. Um, Unlike most zero whatevers, it actually keeps its attack power. So yeah, it's this usually ends up being pretty strong in Quest for 2, so I think it's a completely good card. Jafar is a lot like the last Jafar, it's just that it's always a 5/5, or it's a 5/5 when it attacks, and it's always a 2/5, but it only quests for 1. I think the other Jafar just most of the time is just going to be a better card, especially when you're late game and you can like draw a few times off your magic mirror and then just, you know, buff them if your opponent misses that interaction. Jetsam I think is pretty good, especially if you're worried about running into evasives, and yeah, just it gives you the ability to deal with evasives without having to dump like a Dragonfire or Maleficent or something like that. Magic Broom seems to be really important for the Rakdos mirrors, or Rakdos, Ruby Amethyst mirrors, because the game's going so long that cycling them, like playing one, putting another one back in the deck, could just be what you need to not deck out. And, there's a lot of shenanigans in control matches with it. Maleficent is nowhere near as good as Lilo, even though they're basically the exact same card. It's just that Purple or Amethyst does not have a Simba, and I think that really affects the effectiveness of the card, but obviously it's going to be really good in the future. Then might be the best draw card in the game. 3-drop 2/2 when you play this character, draw a card. I mean, it does quest, it does help you trade, so just a fantastic card. Marshmallow I think is completely unplayable, just basically because it's non-inkable, so whenever this character is banished in a challenge, you may return it to your hand. It's just never going to be banished in a challenge. Your opponent's going to find a way of dealing with it, or they'll just ignore it because it only quests for 1, so terrible card right now. Mickey's being ran usually is a 2 or a 3 of, in the control lists that run the broom package. So you may play 1 ink less to play a broom, and then whenever they die in a challenge, you can. And it does quest for 2, so it's not bad at all. Pascal I think is going to be really good in aggro in the future if it's not already. Just has evasive if you have any other creatures, so you just you know, keep questing. What's holding these credit cards back is that they died at Tinker. Fortunate. Rafiki has been being cut out of a lot of lists, and a lot of lists still have him, but a 3-drop 3/3 with Rush is basically having a smash on a body, kind of, and yeah, it can also get lore. So that Ben is, you know, mega trash, but it's probably good. It's sealed. Queen's one of the best cards in the game. Just 5-drop 4/5 draws a card. I find it to be incredibly powerful if your opponent isn't pressuring you early, and then you just get a couple extra draws off of it. Also, if you're running Sapphire or Amethyst and you Mickey into the Queen and start drawing, it's pretty insane. Wardrobe 3-drop 3/4s. I just like them. You know, don't know how much they're going to be used, but I do like them. Tinkerbell 5-drop 3/3 cannot be inked. It has evasive. Your character's name Peter Pan, get Challenger +1, quest for 2. I think it's unplayable, mostly because it's not inkable. Ursula is a really crazy card, in my opinion. 7-drop, uninkable, unfortunately, but it is a 2/8, so it just stays on the board forever. And then your opponent loses a lore, you draw a card. Whenever you have multiple opponents in other formats in the future, it just does even more, and it quests for 3. And that comeback mechanic of your opponent losing a lore, I think, is really crazy. Yzma is a 2-drop 2/2 that whenever this character quests, you look at the top card, put it on the top of the bottom. I think it's good. I don't know if it's constructed good enough. It seems fine in starter deck tournaments, but I don't think it's good enough to actually make it into lists. Zeus, a lot of people think this card might be better than it is. I actually tested it the other day. Really underperforms, because what happens is, like, let's say your opponent has like a 2-drop 2x, like a 2/1 2/2 2/3, whatever it is, and then like a Maleficent or something, and they quest out. You come down with Zeus, take out one thing, and then it doesn't have any power, so the clapback, it just gets killed really easily. You're just running a non-inkable, basically for no reason. It seems really greedy, and I don't think it's ever going to work out. Freeze is complete garbage. It's uninkable. Nothing else to say. If it was inkable, it might be kind of neat sometimes, but yeah, complete garbage. Befuddle, I see people running this still. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's just always better to run another cheap creature that can get lore. And yeah, just not a fan of it. I get the ideas like, let's say they go like Lilo and then Simba, and then you bounce a Simba with the Befuddle, and then you get the favorable on the Lilo, and then they might have to reinvest a turn basically to play the Simba again or whatnot. But I'd rather just have another. And then it's also like these kind of cards are like really dead in Mirror. Friends on the other side is Pot of Greed. It's cracked, insane card. Reflection, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them back in any order. So I guess you could just want to neg yourself. So this card's like a 0 out of 10. Magic Mirror is really, really strong. One of the best cards in the game. 2-drop, non-inkable. Tap, pay 4, draw a card. Absolutely insane. One of the reasons why Steel is so popular right now is because Beast and Break answer Mirror, which is really important. And yeah, once Amethyst Ruby stabilizes, they're just gonna outdraw you because of that card. Ursula's Cauldron, this was slept on for a while, but it is absolutely insane, especially if you have a mirror to go along with it. And even if you don't, it's still crazy. In this game, items don't have sickness, so you just immediately tap it, and then you start quality controlling your deck, and that combined with mirror, you can just basically almost guaranteed get like a really good draw turn, right? So really, really good. Then Pocket Watch, insane. After you pay its initial investment, you're paying 1, and ink character gets rushed. So giving this to a 7-drop Aladdin is crazy. You can give it to an Elsa, so you can tap down things and then swing into them with the Elsa as well. Just being able to clear the board effectively and kind of like go against the inherent tempo of the game is really strong. So Pocket Watch is great. Let's see, I'm gonna take a break for just a second. I had to take down some fluid real quick, so my throat was messing with me. But Aladdin, 2-drop, 2/2 with Ward. It's gonna be good, especially if there's more Aladdin shiftables in the future, but even if there isn't, if you get into a late game situation, cards like this in Cusco basically say that you need, you know, that amount X lore less to win the game next turn because it can't be messed with on. It's like a grab your sword, be prepared. Really good cards. This is my least favorite legendary right now. I only pulled one of it so far. 5-drop, 4/4 rush. When you play this character, exert all opposing damage characters. I think the problem with this, at least right now, is that most damage characters are already going to be exerted because chances are they got the damage the last turn when they became exerted by challenging something. So it seems really redundant. And if your opponent's able to like make trades and then like untap and just keep the damage characters there, and it's probably because you're like really behind on board, and I don't think this is the kind of card that's going to save you, and also it's uninkable, so don't like the card at all right now. Well, a 2-drop 1/3. When this character is challenged and banished, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. I don't know how I feel about this card. I could see it being good, but I just don't think it's quite there. Duke's just another 1-drop 2/2. Stay there. Rider's insane, obviously, a 2-drop that quests for 2 that also has a good effect, unlike LeFou, making your opponent discard every time it's challenged, which actually it happens sometimes where you have like a lot of like 1-attack things, and then you can't possibly attack because you're going to lose your whole hand. But yeah, Flynn's insane. Genie has evasive and bounces something. I think it's definitely competitive, definitely good. Don't know if it'll ever be ran as like a 4-of, just because it's uninkable, and the decks that you're trying to utilize it in are probably more aggressive, and you want to make sure you have a good curve and be able to ink. This Genie, whenever this character quests, you may play in action that costs 5 or less for free. I don't think it's very good at the moment, but I think it's going to be good in the future. It also quests for 3. It also has evasive, so, and it has shift. So I might be underestimating it at the moment, but I don't think it's quite good enough in set 1 played. Genie just a 2-drop 2/3, but the important thing is it Genie, and is a good target for Power Unleashed. Hans obviously is very good. 4-drop 3/3, quest for 3, just applies the pressure very well. Horus, I actually think, is a little underrated, at least in the deck constructed, because it can kill a Mad Hatter in one swing, which I think is really important. They only get 1 draw, and then he stays around, so it's not even +1 for them. And being able to trade up, I could actually see being pretty good. Also trades into cards like Wardrobe and Mickey and stuff. I could see it. Downside is it's not a 3/4, and it can die to things like Smash and opposing things that have 3. So generally speaking, it's better for it to be a 3/4, but The fact that it can trade into a Mad Hatter and just go with one attack, I think. Jasper 2-drop, or excuse me, 3-drop 2/4. What makes cards like Jasper interesting that when they quest, they make it to where um, target opponent opposing character can't quest is when you're in a race, they could pretty much invaluable. And then I think it's actually going to be a good counter to whenever the aerial item OTK deck becomes a thing where they just untap, tap and um, ready aerial over and over and over again. It wouldn't matter if they got Jaspered or John Silvered. John Silvered does the same thing as Jasper. He just also does it when he actually just played and is bigger and quest for 2. So John Silver I think is a very good card, and finally making it into greenless. Jumba Piba? I don't know if I'm saying that right. 5-drop 4/5 2 lore, complete garbage. Cusco has Ward, really insane. 5-drop 2/4, same stat line as Mad Hatter, also quest for 3. When then also whenever challenge and banish it, you may banish the challenging character. So absolutely insane, one of the best cards in the game. And basically says when you get to 17, you win, because unless your opponent has a board wipe, then when you play this character, you may return an action card from your discard pile to your hand. Could be good. I know some people are using it in the mill deck with a whole new world. I'm just not sure how good it is at the moment, but obviously the bigger the card pool gets, the better it will be. Mad Hatter is really insane. Same stat line as Cusco, and whenever it's challenged, draw a card, so most likely you're going to get 2 draws out of it, and insane. Meg, I think, is a little underrated. When you play this character, chosen character gets +2 attack this turn, so you can trade up a lot, and it's also a good way for green to kill opposing Simbas, so you can push through and get that Lilo. So I think she's actually better than what people think she is. Definitely really good in the starter deck tournament. Mickey Mouse has Shift. That's always good. And whenever you play an action, chosen opposing character can't quest. Don't know if that's ever good enough to run a non-card. See? 3-drop 3/4s are good. Mother Gothel, 6-drop 3/6. While this character is exerted, opposing characters can't quest. Very good ability. What stinks though is that basically she's a 6-drop do nothing immediately. So if you're in a close race, then it's a lot worse. That's why I think John Silver edges her out just a little bit, because he does something on summon and when he quests. So if you're in a race, I think John is just better. And yeah, it's just she's just not as good as John a little. 3-drop 3/2 evasive could be good. It does die to fire cannons, does die to grab your swords, which in this meta I think is really important. So right now I think this card's garbage, but I could see a future where it's good. There's just so much steel running around. You don't want to play, 3 for something that's gonna die to not enough do. 2-drop 1/4. I don't know what to make of this. Seems really bad to me, but trades into the 2-drop 2/2s. I don't know why you'd ever run. I don't know what to make. Tinkerbell, 4-drop 2/3, evasive. When you play this character, chosen character gains evasive, so it's basically Pongo, but with another ability. Can't be too bad. Do it again, gets a action from your graveyard to your hand, but it's not inkable, so unless you're trying to do something cheesy, like mill your opponent out with a new world, I don't think it's very good. Mother Knows Best is very good, mostly because it can be sung, return character to their player's hand. It's a very good tempo if they wasted a lot of their turn to play something big, and in a race type situation. Stampede, deal 2 damage to a damaged character. Really good in starter deck, really bad outside of it. And I say it's really good in starter deck because it's one of the only ways to Sapphire Steel. I don't think is a great starter deck. I don't think it's amazing, but if they curve out like they want to, like if they go like Mickey and then they start dropping like big Simbas and stuff, it's actually really hard to deal with that deck. And Stampede was a great way to get in, but overall I think Stampede's pretty bad. Still from the rich. I understand what they're going for here, but it's kind of like unforging keys almost in Keyforge. But whenever your creature quests this turn, each opponent loses 1 lore. It's not going to make it into the list, right? Sudden Chill can be sung, which is cool. Each opponent chooses and discards a card. And it's just a 1-for-1, but it can be sung. And there might be a discard deck in the future that's really good, maybe with Gotten Me and so on. I'll have to see. The Beast is Mine. Chosen character gains Reckless. Absolutely unplayable garbage. Costs 3. So I I don't know. It's like a filler, like the most filler card in the whole set, probably. Vicious Betrayal. Chosen character gets +2 attack this turn. If a villain character is chosen, they get +3. Not the worst. Don't see how it makes it in a dex though. Cilier's cards. Tap. You may pay 1 ink less for the next action you play. Don't really ever see that being that good because most actions that are in decks are also singable. So I don't know. Very. Stolen Scimitar. You can tap it to give a character +1 attack, and if it's Aladdin, it's +2 attack. Again, I don't think it makes it into constructed lists. Continuing on, Boo, 3-drop, 3-2, taps for 2 lore. Might be good eventually in some kind of Ruby aggro list, but again, playing too many things with 2 defense is not good when Grab Your Swords is all over the place, and it would be all over the place if Ruby aggro ever ended up being a thing, right? 7 cost Aladdin, 5-drop, 5-5, wins a challenge on your turn. Gain 2 lore, they lose 2 lore. Absolutely amazing. Really good with Pocket Watch. Really good for shifting over Aladdin, obviously. Way to stabilize, and not very many cards right now can make your opponent lose lore, so really turn the tide. 3-drop Aladdin, 2-2, 1 lore. When you play it, they lose a lore, but it's also in the same colors as Aladdin, so this is like the primary shift target, right? Captain, 5-drop, 6-5, 1 lore, really good in deck tournaments, otherwise not so much. Captain Hook, 7-drop, non-inkable, 5-5, 2 lore, rush, when it's exerted, opposing characters with evasive, gain reckless. This card's absolute garbage. 2-drop, 2/3s are good. Also, synergizes with Anna, 4-drop, 3/4, garbage. Gaston is really good. It's a 2-drop that can actually deal with Simba. That's, outside of Steel early, and yeah, just, can take out a Mad Hatter and a Kuzco, so good card. LeFou readies a character, good card, good utility. Maleficent might either swatch between this and Rapunzel, whether it's the most expensive or second most expensive single, and yeah, just banishes a creature on summon, 2 lore, trades in anything, just a good card. Maui, fantastic card because it is inkable, has rush and reckless, but huge stats. Mickey, I think, is just going to be a card put into some Ruby decks to increase the threat density and basically be a removal bait, or if they've already removed too many cards, they're going to be really sad they don't have one left for this. So completely fine. Moana kills, is it Tekka, maybe? So yeah, if that ever becomes a thing, who knows? That line's not that great, but it is a princess, so you could find a home there maybe one day. 5-drop, 4/5. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character and a challenger, other characters get +1 for this turn. Could be good with a Pocket Watch deck eventually, we'll have to see. Peter Pan, just a 3-drop, 3/2 with rush. It's basically Rafiki, but has 2 defense instead of 3. Pongo is the Tinkerbell, just without the extra effect. Still really good, especially in starter deck tournaments. Rapunzel is non-equal, 6-drop, 5/4, gets 2 lore, they lose a lore, not good at all. In the deck tournaments it is though. Scar, 4-drop, 5/3, 1 lore, again it loses too many trades, but good in the deck tournaments. Scar, 8-drop, 6/6, non-inkable, shift for 6. When you play this character, ready your characters with cost 3 or less they can't quest. I think it's not good enough. I think it comes in too late, and non-equal is not good. Cards and Tibbs, 1-drop, 2/2s are good. Stitch, 6-drop, 4/6 that quests for 3. Could be good. Oh no, definitely good in the decks though. Tekka, not sure how to say it. 6-drop, 8/6, reckless, non-inkable, complete garbage. Be prepared. The only true board wipe in the game. Whole game is kind of warped around this card, if I'm being honest. Sometimes I wish it wasn't in the game, but yeah, definitely a top tier card. Cut to the chase. Absolute garbage. Dragonfire, one of the best removal spells in the game, even though it's non-inkable. Fan the Flames, garbage. He's got a sword, garbage. Angle, garbage. Like, imagine losing a card to make your opponent lose 1 lore and paying 2 for it. Like, such garbage. Poison Apple, banish this item. Exert chosen character. If it's a princess character, banish it. If it was inkable, I'd say it could be good in the future. Definitely not good at all right now. Field of Virtue is definitely a good card. Being able to untap so your opponent can't, like revenge challenge or, like, it basically gives things like pseudo evasive, and then you can also get multiple attacks off something large. So lots of utility there. Like, for instance, killing something with Aladdin. getting 2 lore, they lose 2 lore, untapping it, doing it again. It's crazy. Sword of Truth, banished item, banished chosen villain character. Has a lot more potential than Apple because it's a lot less narrow, but it's also uninkable, so we'll have to see about item synergies and stuff like that in the future. Ariel, whenever you play an item, you may ready this character. It's going to be very good in the future, I think, but it does die to Smash. All spot removal, it's going to be interesting, but it is uninkable, so it's just going to be like a pipe dream card for a while for those people that want to play combo really, really badly. Aurora, 4-drop 2/5. When you play this character, chosen character gets -2 this turn. Could be good, definitely good in the deck tournaments. Aurora 5/3 gives everything else ward, shift for 3. Great card, quest for 2. Aurora 2-drop 2/2, quest for 2. Great card, especially because this exists and it's a cheap shift target, so you can play this as early as turn 3, as it suggests. When this character quests, you may pay 1 less for the next item you play this turn. 3-drop 2/3. I think the stat line might be too bad to justify it, but this quest for 2. Bell lets you put 2 cards up in your ink per turn, and then once you have 10 or more ink, you then quest for an additional 4. So she starts questing for 5, so you get to a point where maybe you can drop multiples of these in a turn, and then your opponent basically has to deal with them or they're going to die. Very interesting card. Definitely don't know if it's viable outside of a whole new world decks, because you're going to be putting so much resource into your ink. You need something to give you a whole new hand, basically, to utilize this, at least currently. Chief, 7-drop 3/6, quest for 3, has support. Very good. Donald Duck, 5-drop 4/3. Having a 5-drop that loses 2 3-drops is really bad. Flounders, 1-drop 2/2, that's good. Grandma Tala, I think, is okay. None of the ramp cards are really that great outside of Mickey, and Mickey is still like such a horrible draw late game. But yeah, when it's banished, it goes into your Inkwell. It just doesn't fight for the board well early, but it is something that you can just keep questing, and your opponent eventually will have to trade into it, and then you'll get a mana. Hades is basically Maleficent, but with the blue caveat of things getting inked, but it does cost 7 and not 9. Quest for 2, good stat line, so great card. 3-drop 3/3, quest for 2, that's fine. Jasmine heals, could be fine. Don't think it's good enough at the moment, but has a place. Maleficent's a 4-drop 3/4, quest for 2, whatever. 5-drop Maleficent, however, is a 3/6, a quest for 3. I actually think it's good, and is also removal bait in my opinion. Maurice, 6-drop 2/7, obviously the centerpiece for item decks in the future. He draws a card, and then after he quests, they cost 2 less, so great card. Berlin gives support. I actually think this card might be a sleeper card, but I need to test with it. Mickey, we all know Mickey's good. Simba, just a vanilla 6-drop 4/6. Don't think that's worth playing. Felicities or Phil, 2-drop 3/1, has support, has potential. The 1 worries me sometimes because it dies to Tinkerbell, but I do think it's a good card. Robin Hood provides the only like pure draw power card in blue, because Develop Your Brain is not draw power, it's just filtering. It's just a 1-for-1. This is actually a +1 in blue. Maurice can give you a +1 when you play items, but that's very specific. And the only condition with Robin Hood is you have to have less cards in your hand than your opponent. And so blue just desperately needs cards like this. Scars, whatever. I could see you getting value of it. I could see you not. Tamatoa, not sure. 8-drop 5/8. When you play this character, whenever you quest, return an item card. Obviously, it's going to be good when items are a thing, and then he quests for 1 lore for each item you have. So he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. Triton, 7-drop 5/9, 2 lore. I mean, he's an absolute, stat beast, but it's not very impressive with all the removal. Develop Your Brain, some of the best filtering in the game, but I find it to be underwhelming. I ink it a lot. If it's not Baroque, turn an item from your discard to your hand. Again, depends on the future. Right now it's garbage. Let It Go can be sung. They do get the ink from it, but it can be sung. Who needs this? 1 Jump Ahead I find very underwhelming, just because it's not inkable. And losing a card, you're not really losing the card because it's like you put it in mana, but the uncertainty of knowing what you put in kind of stinks. And it can be sung though, and if you're running a whole new world, it's not too bad. I'm just not that crazy about it. Work Together is garbage. Coconut Basket is one of the better items. Eye of the Fates is going to go hand in hand with Ariel, so really good, just not right now. Fishbone Quill is one of the best items, if not the best item, where you can just ramp, and then, like I was saying before, fill your hand with a whole new world. Magic Golden Flower, banish this item, remove up to 3 damage from chosen character. Scepter gives support, but but it is a 1-cost item, so it's probably going to be in all the item decks. All right, last color. Last color. Aladdin 2-drop, 2/1, quest for 2. I think it's interesting also if Ruby Steel ever ends up being a thing, you have another target for the 7-drop shiftable Aladdin. Beast, one of the best cards in the game, one of my favorite cards in the game. Killing Magic Mirrors, Ursula's Cauldrons, Shields of Truth, Pocket Watches. Thing is a menace, super good. Quest for 2 is inkable, which is the important thing, very good. Captain Hook, I don't think it's been played against me like once outside of week 1. 4-drop 3/4. When you play this character, you can return Fire the Cannons. By week 1, I mean the first week I was playing this game. Captain Hook, one of my favorite early cards in the game. It's able to swing into things with 3 defense, so it can kill Simba, which is really important. And then we have Captain Hook, shift 3. I don't like it because it's not inkable. Challenger +3, and characters with cost 3 or less can't challenge this character. It seems okay, but I don't think it's worth it. Donald Duck, Bodyguard. During your turn, your Musketeer characters gain evasive, 4-drop 2/5. Probably good if Bodyguard ever actually ends up being good, or Musketeers, excuse me. Gantu, probably the worst legendary, 8-drop 6/6. Characters with cost 2 or less can't challenge your characters. Just absolutely, there's nothing in here that justifies it costing 8. 1-drop 2/2s are good. Hans, 4-drop 3/3. Quest for 2. Whenever the quest, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. Seems okay. You know, nothing crazy. 3-drop 3/3 Bodyguard. Probably pretty good. Probably a little underplayed. Kristoff, 3-drop 3/3 quest for 2. Trunk, 6-drop 6/6 quest for 2. Fine. Don't know if it's constructed playable. Lilo, 3-drop 4/2, which is very interesting. Quest for 2. You know, not going to make it into constructed lists, I don't think, at least until there's like a bigger Lilo that wants to shift. Maui, 8-drop 8/8 quest for 3. I actually think that actually isn't terrible. What I think it's going to do is just increase the threat density of steel decks a little bit, and basically is a giant target. And if your opponent doesn't have removal, he's going to start getting a lot of lore. He can swing into even something like an Ursula and kill it, and Elsa. Not bad, but if he makes it in the list, he's probably like a 2 or something. Mickey Mouse, 6-drop 2/7 Bodyguard. All your other Musketeers characters get +1, so he's like one of the only lords in the game. Seems fine. Prince Eric is also, again, one of my favorite characters. 2-drop 1/3, becomes a 3/3 when it challenges, so it doesn't die to grab your swords and all that kind of stuff. Simba, 1-drop 1/2. See decks playing this that are running the Rockstar Stitch, so they can hunt for the key pieces and, you know, start that going. So I think it's fine. Simba, 7-drop 4/6, quest for 2, challenger 4. Gains evasive on your turns, way too costly. 5-drop 3/5, whenever it wins a battle. On your turn, you gain a lore. It's uninkable, so it's total garbage. Starkey, 5-drop 5/4. Gets another lore if you happen to have a captain. That's total garbage. Tekka, during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in your challenge, you gain 2 lore. I can see that being good, especially with Pocket Watch eventually, but, you know, it's not like a fringe pick, right? Tinkerbell, one of the best cards in the game. Shift for 4. When you play this character, deal 1 damage to all opposing characters. And then during your turn, whenever it challenges a character and banishes it, you may deal 2 damage to an opposing character. So you shift it over this 3-drop Tinkerbell. That's also very good. Taps, draws a card, then you discard a card. Good stat line. It's not easy to remove, so that way you are likely to get the larger Tinkerbell on it on 4. And so dealing 1 to everything, then smacking to something else, dealing 2 to something else. It's almost like Blinded Beetle Prime from Kaijudo, and it does a lot of work. Also, instead of attacking, you could just sing a whole new world or grab your swords, and you have done 3 to everything, which is pretty crazy. Whole new world really changes the entire dynamics of how control interacts with decks in this game, which is why I think they were comfortable with let something like Be Prepared even exist. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards, so once you're ahead on board, this card allows you to stay just forever ahead, basically. And yeah, it's just an interesting card. I've never really had a card like this in any games ever before, and the fact that it can be sung is what makes it viable. Break is something I like to tech a 1 or 2 of, just so I have other means of getting rid of magic mirrors besides Beast. Fire the Cannons is non-inkable, which is the only reason it's not a 4 of in every steel deck ever, which is a really intelligent decision by Lorcana creators. Grab Your Swords, one of the best cards in the game, gives all opposing characters -2 damage, and it can be sung, which is incredibly powerful. Ransack is completely unplayable garbage. Smash is one of the best cards in the game. Deal 3 damage to a character. So if they go Lilo, Simba, tap Simba, you can smash the Simba, kill the Lilo. Deals well with dealing with stuff like Pongo and such. So very good card. Also inkable. Beast Mirror. It's one of Steel's only ways outside of a whole new world to even draw. Tap it, pay 3. If you have no cards in your hand, draw a card. It's it's a lot more conditional than Magic Mirror, even though it's inkable, and is one less cost to tap than Magic Mirror. Magic Mirror is way better, but Beast Mirror is good. Frying Pan's complete and total garbage. Musketeer Tabard, 4-drop. Whenever one of your character's bodyguards vanish, you may draw a card. Again, it's non-inkable. It really just depends how good bodyguards get in the future. I don't know why these cards are at the bottom, but I guess I'll talk about them. Olaf, 1-drop, 1/3. It's whatever. Mickey, 3-drop, 3/3. 2 lords, whatever. Another 1/3. Treasure Cat's one of the best cards in the game. 3-drop, 0/3. When this character is challenged or banished, banish the challenging character. So it's always going to be a 1-for-1. In a quest for a lot. Iago is interesting because it's another card that could deal with something like the aerial, and it's decent for racing for that reason, but I don't think it'll make it into constructed, at least for a while. 5-drop, 3/4, evasive, 2 lore. Evasives could have a home in the future. Same sort of thing here. It costs 1 more, has 1 more power. And then we have the Plasma Blaster. Tap it, 2 energy, deal 1 damage to chosen character. It's not inkable, but maybe it'll have a place in the. So hopefully you didn't, hate my takes on the cards. Really enjoying the game right now. Right now I'm basically trying to find a way of beating Ruby Amethyst consistently. Same as everyone else, I'm sure. And gonna start testing the Amber Steel deck a lot. Already have been doing that a little bit, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.